TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem, and in today's top stories. The United States urges Israel to show more flexibility to accommodate Hamas demands for a hostage release deal in exchange for far-reaching Israeli concessions to include a temporary ceasefire. Hezbollah steps up its hostilities against Israel by deliberately launching dozens of projectiles towards civilian communities. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says that Israel is ready to face any threat, both near and far. The Islamist Hamas continues to reject the terms of a freshly proposed outline for an arrangement which aims to realize a temporary cessation of hostilities for the Gaza Strip, alongside additional far-reaching Israeli concessions in exchange for the release of a limited number of hostages that have been held captive by the Islamist terror group for over 321 days. The two main points of contention relate to Hamas's vehement objection to any Israeli military presence along the enclave's border with Egypt, named the Philadelphi corridor, and Israeli demands for inspections of Gazans traveling within the enclave northward, a demand that will require a military presence in a strategic corridor dubbed Netzarim, another point which Hamas also fervently rejects. Meanwhile, at the Philadelphi corridor, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant met with the IDF's 162nd Division, during the course of which he expressed a deep sense of appreciation for the troops.
I came here first and foremost to express my appreciation. Division 162, including all of its brigades, the Nahal Brigade where we are currently located, Brigade 401, Brigade 84, Yahalom, the Special Forces, you are all working and fighting like lions. The Rafah Brigade was defeated. The Rafah Brigade of the enemy was defeated by Division 162. This is crystal clear.
Jerusalem's top defense official went on to highlight the success of the Israeli forces in destroying some 150 tunnels, while further stressing that he ordered the 162nd Division to promptly operate to destroy the remaining subterranean infrastructure.
I observed the situation related to the tunnels. First, we have managed to destroy 150 tunnels. Out of those 150 tunnels that were destroyed, around 100 tunnels were in fact trenches dug using engineering tools above ground, and then covered with a meter or two of dirt. This made it easy to locate them, because we located them by intelligence imagery, and it is also easy to destroy them, because you arrive at the location and destroy it. All these matters are eliminated. However, a few more targets remain, which we will destroy. I have given the order to do so immediately.
Minister Gallant concluded his statement by asserting, in response to a question by one of the soldiers, that the most important point for Israel moving forward is to complete its war objectives in Gaza, so that Israel's defense establishment will expedite its gradual transition of focus from the heavily battered Gaza Strip northward toward Lebanon and the Iranian proxy Hezbollah.
The most critical thing is related to your question. The most important matter in my eyes, and as part of a school of thought, is to remember the goals of the war and to achieve all of them, including regarding Hamas, as well as regarding the hostages, and now we turn our eyes northward, and we understand why.
Meanwhile, at the Glilot base in central Israel, a change of command ceremony was held for the IDF Intelligence Directorate, months after Major General Aaron Khaliva resigned his post over his failure to alert the surprise onslaught by the Islamist Hamas on October 7th of last year. And while General Khaliva took full responsibility for the devastating failure, IDF Chief of General Staff Lieutenant General Herzia Levi highlighted the great contribution of General Khaliva in particular and the Intelligence Directorate at large to keeping Israel safe. Moreover, to those claiming they can no longer trust the Intelligence Directorate after the atrocious failure of October 7th, the IDF Chief of General Staff decreed that he will always choose to rely on intelligence rather than the alternative.
הצלחות רבות שלנו.
Our many successes in this war, which began at very tough all-time low, were achieved thanks to qualitative information provided by the Intelligence Directorate, thanks to your leadership from a crisis to proactive conduct. If I had to choose between rolling a dice or utilizing intelligence with all of its limitations, I resolutely choose to utilize intelligence. And if we made concrete achievements over many years, after which we ultimately failed, it means that by launching a state commission we will be able to investigate and identify both our failures and successes, and we will learn how to act for the purpose of limiting future failures. This necessary correction constitutes a condition for our state's existence.
התיקון הזה הוא תנאי קיומי למדינה שלנו.
General Halevi went on to address the incoming Intelligence Directorate head, Major General Shlomi Binder, who until recently served as the head of the IDF Operations Division.
הנביא ירמיהו נשאל מה אתה רואה?
The prophet Jeremiah was asked, "What do you see?" He answered, "I see a branch of an almond tree." The Lord of the universe replied, "You have seen well, for I am watching over my word to perform it." The almond tree is the first to blossom, and its fruit are fine. According to scholars, shkita is a combination between speed and quality. Intelligence may not constitute prophecy, however, it will demand of you, Shlomi, to be diligent in the biblical sense. This is the order of the hour.
במובן התנ"כי. זהו צו השעה.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden held a phone conversation with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu overnight in a reported effort to press the Israeli leader to succumb to Hamas's demand by showing flexibility in relation to the Philadelphia corridor. The White House released a statement in which he noted that the president had stressed to the Israeli premier the urgency of this issue. As a result, according to unnamed sources familiar with the details, Israel is reportedly willing to show some flexibility by scaling back the number of troops along the Philadelphia corridor. Nevertheless, the Prime Minister's office stressed that there won't be a complete withdrawal from the corridor since it is the main artery from which Hamas can rearm itself, a reality which Israel cannot accept. Turning to northern Israel, where Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited the Israel Air Force base of Ramat David, during the course of which he highlighted Israel's preparedness for any threat, near or far.
I am here at an Air Force base in order to closely monitor our preparations to face threats from near and far. We are prepared for any scenario, both offensively and defensively. The Air Force is our iron fist, which knows how to hit the soft underbelly of our enemies. The ground crews, pilots, and commanders here are doing heroic work. They have proven this time and again, and if we need to, we will prove it again even more vigorously.
Netanyahu's visit to the Ramat David air base comes amid an uptick in hostilities between Hezbollah and the IDF, with a couple hundred projectiles, including rockets, anti-tank missiles, and unmanned aerial vehicles, launched from Lebanese territory toward Israel, including most notably more than 50 rockets toward the Israeli Golan Heights community of Katzrin, which is a town that had not been evacuated and which is not surrounded by any military installations. Consequently, the IDF said that Hezbollah has started shelling civilian communities in the north of Israel and that it will respond to this blatant aggression with force. Meanwhile, at the United Nations headquarters in New York, the world body's humanitarian coordinator for Lebanon, Imran Riza, provided a grim overview of the situation in which Hezbollah forced upon Lebanon when the Iranian proxy launched its unprovoked war against Israel on October 8th of last year.
Lebanon was already facing a grim situation of protracted political, financial, socioeconomic crisis before October last year. Now, in 2024, those in need have reached 3.7 million people. This includes crisis-affected Lebanese, Syrians, Palestinians, other migrants. The conflict has further eroded the capacity of the state to tackle political, economic, and security challenges and to provide basic services to the population.
In light of the fact that Lebanon's government is plagued by deeply rooted corruption and has blatantly failed to pursue a necessary reform to attract foreign support, the UN has called on the international community to back its humanitarian plight for the country, which has essentially been taken hostage by the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Our annual appeal for assistance for all of Lebanon is, at this point in August, only 25% funded. Nonetheless, we have managed to reach 1 million people with assistance and support so far this year, including at least 180,000 people affected by the conflict in South Lebanon.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. It is important to highlight that TV7 Israel is a 100% donation-based nonprofit ministry with all of our productions available free of charge. Therefore, if you're blessed by our productions and would like to help support our daily programs, such as this one, TV7 Israel News, as well as Jerusalem Studio, Deep Dive, and much more, we would deeply appreciate it if you'd consider making a donation. You can do so via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. Separately, I'd like to thank all of you who do support us, either intermittently or monthly. TV7 Israel would not be possible without your generous contributions. Last but certainly not least, I'd like to encourage you, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hassan, wishing you an Erev Mevorach V'Batuach, and God willing, we will see you during our upcoming TV7 Israel updates. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.